Alright, it's only me. I've just come on. I thought I'd come on tonight since it's Monday night. We always have Monday night Motörhead. So I've been meaning to do this one for a while. I kind of fell out today in the buyer's guide things. Yeah, it'd have been perfect things today while the COVID was happening, but for some reason just fell out of it. And I was actually going to do the buyer's guide to Motörhead with just a Phil Campbell, Mickey D and Lemmy lineup, but apparently I've done one of these before that goes up to 1992, which would have took it up to March or Die, so I'm going to pick up for theirs. I better go crack on with it because there's a pure heavy power in it. There's 30 gear and Motörhead to go. So what I'm going to do tonight is I'm going to bung a record on. I'm going to hang on this Motörhead. I always get some highly dodgy bootleg releases. So in order so I don't get like a copyright strike or whatever against this, I'm going to put on this highly dodgy album. It's called Blitzkrieg in Birmingham, which I bought, I don't know, I must have bought that back in the 80s at some time. It's Motörhead, now it's Blitzkrieg in Birmingham 1977. So it's early Motörhead. Apparently somebody told me that this bootleg, it was actually an audience recorded bootleg, but somebody recorded it outside the venue. So we kind of go around with this, nobody's going to flag us up for this. But nobody's got shadier release record than Motörhead. I'm not going to cover that many of the dodgy releases tonight. I'm just going to go through the official catalogue because this Motörhead was quite prolific. And it's one of the things I miss is getting a Motörhead album every 1 or 2 years, because if one of the bands are on there, like started with Def Leppard and stuff, is bands disappearing for like 4 or 5 years between albums. Because when I was a boy, you used to get albums like whatever it was, one a year or whatever for whatever band you liked, or on a rare occasion 1 every 2 years, but then you would have a live album or something. So I'm going to crack on. We'll start in the year 1993. It's got an album here. Motörhead just been on a major label signed with Sony, but I don't know what happened here. Phil Taylor, the drummer, had left the band again. He was never the same actually when he came back after Orgasmatron. He was never the same Phil Taylor as he'd been in the early days. So he came and went, and they got in a guy called Mickey D, who came for King Diamond. At the time it was like, who's this guy with the big hair, and why should I care about him and no Phil Taylor? He did go on to become solid if Phil Taylor's the definitive Motörhead drummer, then Mickey D's got to be tapping him on the shoulder. The only thing about Mickey D is he's solid technical drummer, whereas Phil Taylor just sounded as if he was trying to keep up with Lemmy or whatever. But it did, this album's called Bastards. It was on a German record label, and at the time you couldn't get it, you had to import it. And it's a shame because it's an absolutely fantastic Motörhead album. The only problem with it is it's got a song in the middle there called Don't Let Daddy Kiss Me, which was Lemmy. His heart was in the right place, but I don't think his brain was. It's a song about child abuse, and when I pick Motörhead album on, I don't want to hear songs about child abuse or whatever. I want to hear some rocking tunes. Alright, fair enough. There'll probably be some lyrics about war and stuff, but the kind of single worst Motörhead song for me, I can't listen to it, and it's right in the middle of the Bastards album. But everyone else on Bastards is brilliant. This version, it's got a kind of a cover of Jumpin' Jack Flash on it. So I'm not going to talk too long about things because we've got a lot to get through here, and I don't want to be here for like hours and hours and hours. I'm calling the shots. I can't get GMD else into bother for this. It's me that's waffling on, I know that. But next up come what was this, 1995 I'm thinking, Sacrifice. This is another really good album. Lot of rhythmic experimentation on Sacrifice, particularly the title track, which we're going to come the new drummer Mickey D's kind of party piece thing. But really heavy album this, same with Bastards, although I would say that Sacrifice maybe a wee tiny bit heavier, probably influenced by the grunge thing at the time, whereas Motörhead just decided, right, bugger it, Ken, we're just going to go back to being fast and loud, and that's what they did. There's only 3 of them on the back there, but this is the last album to feature Wuzzle. Although he didn't really play that much guitar solos or anything on the album, because apparently he was he just lost interest and left the band kind of an overnight kind of thing, which is a shame. But it meant that you could go back to the original kind of format of Motörhead with a 3-piece with Lemmy's bass, backfilling in a lot more of the sound, because it taking a bit of a back seat in order to accommodate the kind of 2 guitar lineup. It sacrificed pretty good. But then this one come out, it's a Overnight Sensation for 1996. I remember this coming out well because our girl was born that year, and we just listened to this hour and hour and hour. I heard the track Overnight Sensation first, and when I heard it I was like, hey, that sounds like kind of early Motörhead. The Overnight Sensation, so kind of really good album this. Runs Bastards pretty close for the best album of the 90s. There's nothing on there that makes you cringe or that you don't like, and it's a solid album, good songs. Civil War, Eat the Gun, I Don't Believe a Word, Broken, just so many good songs on this. Highly recommended. Overnight Sensation, that was Motörhead backfiring on 06. But then next up came Snakebite Love, and I remember my mate Jim bought this first, and I remember hearing it and thinking it wasn't really up to what it should have been. After Overnight Sensation they were back kind of struggling again, but kind of heavy downtime for heavy metal, 1998. It was kind of things were bottoming out before things actually took an upswing again in the year 2000. I remember it well, 25 years ago, that there was hardly bugger all happening. You maybe had like UDO's Solid album and maybe Saxon's Metalhead. I remember Wasp had an absolutely shit album out. What was that called? Eldorado. But everybody was away. Judas Priest, Rob Halford was away. Bruce Dickinson wasn't in Iron Maiden, although he was on the cusp of coming back. Dio were doing kind of grungy stuff. Whitesnake, Aerosmith were doing that big ballad song out of that film. Like a grim time. But Snakebite Love, possibly the I wouldn't say the worst, but just the least interesting Motörhead album. Just sounds like they're going through the motions here, and I think they knew that themselves, because next up they released this album, which is everything louder than everything else. It recorded on a Snakebite Love tour. It's their first kind of proper live release since No Sleep Till Hammersmith, and it's good because it's recorded one night in a club in Hamburg, and it's loud, and it's the best of the new stuff with a lot of the old favourites thrown in, Capricorn and Metropolis, Stay Clean, that kind of stuff. This is a really good live album to get, but the live albums are going to start to get more frequent for Hero and In, as you'll notice. So we get to the year 2000, like I was talking about a minute ago, where kind of heavy metal turned the corner, and you're looking for Motörhead to turn in a decent album, because they've been on their ass for a wee while years. This is We Are Motörhead with the kind of green cover there. Now this is an album that either side, either end of it, the up front and at the back is really good, but there's just a couple of bits in the middle for me that make it sag a bit. The song One More Fucking Time, but I'm sorry for swearing there, but that's what the song's called. And I really could have done without the cover of the Sex Pistols song, the Sex Pistols God Save the Queen. Could have wrote a 2-3 minute song just to fill it up. But good songs like See Me Burning, Wearing Your Heart on Your Sleeve, and We Are Motörhead, they wrote this if you're going to write a song called We Are Motörhead, you'd better make sure that it sums up everything you do. And they did a good job of that, they did. We Are Motörhead's just like a good way of summing up what Motörhead is and what they do. And next up, they brought out this, which is Best of Motörhead, which the writing's really on the wall with the track listing for this one. It's heavy on stuff up until about 1982, and it's all jumbled up and mixed together, but you've only got like one track each for all the albums that they released after probably Rock and Roll. In fact, there's maybe a couple of omitted there. I don't know if Hellraiser's on it, but the good thing about this was it was the first time they'd acknowledged that the tapes that they'd recorded in Leeds and Newcastle for the No Sleep Till Hammersmith album in 1981 were still out there, although they're pretty crap mix on this. There's 2 bonus tracks on each disc, unreleased stuff for that era. So this was alright, it was worth getting. It was early days of me having a CD player, so I hadn't even got all the Motörhead stuff on CD at the time, so it was quite nice to have that. It's Lemmy there with a couple of shadowy guys standing behind. I don't know who they were. So next up we had this one. It was a DVD, came out, called Bone Shaker, and this was the live album come out of this, live at Brixton Academy. It's a 25th anniversary concert here, which is pretty good because there's some special guests on there. Fast Eddie Clarke comes out and plays a song. I'm trying to think who else is on there now. Whitfield Crane out of Ugly Kid Joe, if anybody remembers the name. And Brian May actually plays on Overkill at the end, because apparently Brian May's a big fan of Motörhead. Who knew? Next up, 2002, Hammered. Things are getting stronger here. Hammered is a good album, kind of hampered with 2 or 3 songs that are maybe a bit below par, but there's some really excellent stuff on here, like Red Raw and Walk a Crooked Mile, Brave New World, Voices for the War. A lot of good stuff on this. And it's got the bonus track on there is the one that everybody's was asking me, as soon as I started doing the Motörhead videos, like, when are you going to do the game out of the wrestling, the wrestling song that Triple H, Motörhead recorded for Triple H. When are you going to do that? When are you going to do that? The answer is I'm not going to, because the reason I can get kinda get away with doing Motörhead songs without getting copyright strikes against them is because they usually deal with really dodgy record labels. Whereas as soon as you post something that's owned by the WWF or whatever they're called now, you can forget about it, mute it. So there's absolutely no point doing it. Even the ones that done after 1916 and March or Die albums, because they were owned by Sony, I've got copyright strikes against them on my YouTube channel. So that was Hammered, and things are starting to look up for here. And at this point, Motörhead brought out this big lavish box set here called Stone Deaf Forever, the definitive Motörhead collection. That's 5 discs, and it's pretty good because it hasn't got its favourites on this. The first 2 discs there are the kind of Fast Eddie and Brian Robertson era, and then there's 2 discs there that cover everything up to the next pair, and then a live disc at the end. So that was a really good, nice book in that, and a big poster and everything. Got a few dodgy Motörhead box sets come out round about that time, but Lemmy told us not to buy them because they weren't officially endorsed like that one. Next up, this is Inferno. That's not actually the right cover. This is a special edition one I've got here. But this is Inferno. Oh, I think that's what that Triple X is in the middle. I think this is actually a reissue. It came out in 2005, which has also got a DVD in it. It's got the kind of Motörhead story and a few other things in it. But Inferno, really strong album. This easily their best album since at least Overnight Sensation, and you might even go further back than that. The only thing I would say is an acoustic song on it called Whorehouse Blues. Motörhead always do these things, we've put an acoustic song, or we've done a ballad, or we've done something else. I don't care about that. I don't want that stuff. I want Motörhead playing loud, playing fast, no acoustic guitars, no mouth organ, so Whorehouse Blues kinda is the only thing that lets this down, but I mean cracking songs on this: In the Name of Tragedy, Killers, Terminal Show, Fight, Inferno. If you're looking for some latter day Motörhead to get towed into, then this is it, Ken. This is Mickey D, Phil Campbell and Lemmy really hitting their stride here, Ken. Great album, classic album. Then after that we go at this, as came out, which was pretty good. It was BBC Live and In Session, which was a collection of the stuff that they brought out, they'd recorded for the BBC, and it's off kind of 1978 up to 1986. So you're talking about on the cusp of Overkill up until doing a session for Orgasmatron. And the good thing about this was, in the live disc on that box set, they had some stuff on there. It was for a concert in 1979 at the Paris Theatre, whereas by the time this came out, it was around about 2005, 2006ish, they had sourced better tapes for it, and they had the Hail Hang on there. So it's like Overkill era Motörhead playing a show, stuff like Limb for Lamb and all that kind of skin, I'll Be Your Sister. Absolutely fantastic, great. Next up after this was Kiss of Death. Whoa, what's that? That was a Kiss of Death. Gee, Kiss of Death, I've got mixed feelings about. It's still a pretty good album, but it just no as special for me as what Hammered or Inferno had been. And it's got a cover of the Metallica song Whiplash on it. But there's some stuff on there that's alright. But when I'm looking at the track list, nothing really jumps out at me. One Night Stand, probably the song that everybody remembers best for that album, because it went in a live, made it into the live set and kind of stayed there. But it's got a song there called God Was Never On Your Side. It's got a guitar solo played by CC DeVille The Poison. Why would you do that? They had, I think Steve Vai played the solo on Terminal Show on the Inferno album, which again I was like, why would you do that? I understand Steve Vai maybe draw you in some people, but I don't think CC DeVille, maybe they were pals with CC DeVille, who knows? But CC DeVille, no, he'll only be going down with Jimi Hendrix or whatever as one of the great heavy metal guitar players. Next up is this one, Better Motörhead Than Dead, and a DVD came out about the same time as this one called Stage Fright. That's a pretty good live album. This, I'd probably put this as my favourite of the Phil Campbell era. Phil Campbell, Mickey D era live albums. Some good stuff in there, bringing stuff back like Shoot You in the Back, Love Me Like a Reptile, good new stuff like Killers and stuff. The only thing is, when you get to the run-in on a Motörhead album, there's some stuff in there that I was playing that I couldn't care less about. Just cause you go to the power, I was seems to go on forever. Going to Brazil, I never really cared about, and there you go, there's Whorehouse Blues in there, in between Iron Fist and Ace of Spades. So nearly a perfect concert, but it's no Sleep Till Hammersmith. Next up, 2008, Motorizer. Now it's hard to pick out between this and Inferno as what is the definitive latter day Motor album, but Motorizer is fantastic. Great songs like Teach You How to Sing the Blues, Run Around Man, The Thousand Names of God. We used to play Rock Out. It's a nice wee song. And Back in the Chain, nice good wee song. Says Motorizer, extremely strong album. And that cover there with the coat of arms, which has got the Motörhead war pig there with the flags. I think it's Sweden, England and Wales, whatever. It's a coat of arms for the people that's in Motörhead. So we're coming here at 2010, and the album The World Is Yours. Now this came out with a classic rock magazine pack thing, which I think was a kind of swizz, because I'm pretty sure because they done that it didn't qualify to get into the charts, because it was paid to a magazine. But Ken, that's a pity, because The World Is Yours, a bit like Inferno and Motorizer, really, really strong latter day Motörhead, and this is superb. Cracking opening track here, Born to Lose, I Know How to Die, Get Back in Line, Brotherhood of Man Outlaw. This is the last special Motörhead album. World Is Yours, Ken, we played the hell out of this when it came out. Cracking album, Ken, can't recommend it enough. Really good sound on it as well. I think the guy that we're working with at this time is a guy called Cameron Webb, that was a kind of main producer all the time. Next up, got these double live albums came out called The World Is Ours, which was on the 2010-2011 World Is Yours tour, and these are pretty good. It's like double CD with a DVD in there of whatever the main concert is, and heavy big set list, pretty good. But round about this time I kind of started to notice that Mickey D and Phil Campbell, solid players. That was the thing about the original Motörhead with Eddie Clark and Phil Taylor. I think it made it so exciting was they were all trying to keep up with each other, try to play fast. Sounds as if the whole thing was going to 40 bits. Phil Campbell and Mickey D play the same songs every night, played them perfect, never fall off. But it was Lemmy. You could tell that Lemmy was kind of starting to struggle, but I think this time they're probably about 65. And to all us, it was actually amazing that he was still alive. We all thought Lemmy would have probably been dead by the time he was like 50. But still get the set list problems in here. There's some songs coming in that I still don't care about going to Brazil just because you got the power. And then here we go again, a rerun of this. It's the same thing, that The World Is Ours Volume 2, which is the same concert set, same double CD and DVD. I think the DVD in this one's live at Wacken. Alright, another Motörhead live album. How many's that I've just talked about in the last 10 minutes? 5, 6. So after that, another classic rock magazine pack album called Aftershock. I quite like the cover on that. It's also like something like a Commando comic or whatever. And some of the music on this is really good, but there's some influences in there that I'm not really that daft about. Can I try to put my finger on what it is I'm talking about? Just kind of clean guitars and stuff, and Lost Women Blues, that kind of thing. That's Dust and Glass, songs like that I'm thinking about. And there is a lot of songs on this album, there's 14 songs. I don't know if you need 14 songs on any album, it's an awful lot. But Aftershock, things are starting to wind down a wee bit, again, come out with the magazines disqualified for the charts, which is a shame. And there was a version of that came out as well with a live concert, which was absolutely woeful. Lemmy sounded terrible. I think it was actually, must have been about 2014. It was called the Tour Edition. And fair play to Lemmy, that's what he wanted to do, and people kept buying tickets, so that's what he did. Then we get this one, 2015, Bad Magic, and you know that there's big problems here when I put this on, because the sound is so distorted. And like I said, they've been working with that guy Cameron Webb, who had been doing a great job producing their albums, but on this album, everything's distorted, and I think it's to hide the fact that Lemmy just is old AF. He'd be 69, 70 when he recorded this album. You can tell by listening to his voice, he's an old guy. There are some good songs on here, but it's no Motörhead album that I listen to that often. I prefer the earlier stuff, a bit more energetic. I think there's a version of this out as well called Seriously Bad Magic, again with a live show for around about the era, and it's no the best of Motörhead live. It's no Sleep Till Hammersmith, it just isn't, it's a shame. And then they brought a live album out called Clean Your Clock, which is for that last tour. Never bought it, I don't want it, I don't need it. But this year they brought out this, which is this up to the present day, which is Motörhead We Play Rock and Roll live at the Montreux Jazz Festival 2007. This is pretty good because oh, I'm there. Hello. I've turned that round for some reason. Oh! How'd you turn that back? No, hang on, I need to talk about it like this. But Ken, this was done at the 2007 Montreux Jazz Festival. And it's for the Kiss of Death tour, which is pretty good because there wasn't any out on that tour. So it was nice to have something after that tour. So I've been listening to that the past couple of weeks. I kind of recommend it, and it's a pretty good, well recorded concert. So that's my buyer's guide to Motörhead up until the present day. I've flipped this camera around, I don't know how to turn it back. I could lock, but I'll probably press the wrong button, muck everything up. But anyhow, I'm not going to waffle on anymore. That's just continuing Motörhead week, and just because it was Monday night and I'm in the house, and I'm rarely ever in the house, sitting in my wee house here. So I'm going to bugger off. I ain't going to my dinner yet. Pure starving. So enjoy the rest of the evening, and I'll see you later on. Alright, ta-ta.